Hello, coaches. Welcome back to Coach Better Spotlight. Today, we're chatting with Stacy Stevens, Director of Learning and Strategic Planning at the International School of Beijing. One of the challenges many coaches face is helping their school leaders understand the purpose and value of coaching. ISB is just now in the process of designing a coaching program, and they have worked carefully to include the perspectives of all stakeholders. Today's Spotlight highlights how Stacy has ensured that all school leaders are engaged in the process of defining coaching for the school. To hear more about the process from start to finish that ISB has gone through, check out the podcast for the full conversation. If you enjoy any part of this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more conversations like this, please subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell to find out every time we release a new episode. Remember, you can also listen to the full Coach Better episode wherever you get your podcasts. Before we jump into today's episode, by now you will have heard us talking about the Coach Microcredential, and it is finally time to register. Early bird registration is open now, and it's only open for 2 weeks this year because last year we filled up our premium cohort so fast that we had to close it early. We don't want you to miss out on your chance to join this year's cohort. Stay tuned to the end of this video and find out what current participants are saying about the coach and to learn how to register for our next cohort. We can't wait to learn with you. All right, welcome back to another episode of Coach Better. Today, Clint and I are here with Stacy Stevens. Stacy, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Clint.
Thank you so much for joining us. Stacy, can you tell us a little bit about your education experience?
I'm not even sure how many years in international schools this is now. I forget, but it's been a long time. This is my 4th international school. I'm currently the Director of Learning and Strategic Planning at the International School of Beijing. And previous to Beijing, I've been at the American Embassy in New Delhi. I was at the Lincoln School in Buenos Aires. And I started my illustrious career at the American School of Kuwait in 2001. So that'll help you do the math on how long I've been international.
We started almost at the same time. I didn't realize that. My first international school was Munich International School in 2000. I didn't realize it's like so similar numbers of schools too. Cool. I've had a lot of conversations with coaches where they say that their biggest challenge is helping school leaders understand what they do. And it sounds like your school leaders have been such an integral part of this process. It's making me wonder, like, why at this school do the school leaders really have a vision for coaching? Is it you, Stacy? Like, you've been there for 5 years and you've been building up that understanding, do you think?
I think part of it is like we're a very process-oriented school. And I think that in busy places, you don't always get to live your process when and where and in the ways that you want to. And I think this is a place that we've really got to live our values as a school of how we ideally want to make decisions and do work. We just today at the end of our meeting, we were talking about thinking slow and thinking fast, and just that appreciation for being able to think slow. And I think part of it's timing. We knew that we would we knew 2 years ago that we would add a coach. And so that had to be planned for. You have to start those conversations. It doesn't start on the day that you're doing staffing. Right. We're already talking about, so today, I just had a meeting with the principals because 2 months ago, we had a meeting that said, if we could expand coaching, what's our ideal coaching model? Like, what are the positions and what are they doing? So 15 people in the room coming up with different models and needs, K-12, ES, MS, HS. That then came to our group, our smaller coaching group, where we worked on it for a month. And I just took back to principals almost 2 months after they told us, and we worked through a process about all right, so based on what you said and our thinking and our learning, here's our recommendation back to you. about how to expand, our coaching model. And I think when you're learning together and the principals are in there learning together, then I think that makes it really easy to help build their vision, because they own it. Like, we can't make staffing decisions or bring a staffing plan forward without the principals being supportive of it, and then having a clear understanding about what the purpose is. And they've just been there day one in the process. And I just think we have a lot of systems and structures that supported us in really positive ways. Like, I get 2 to 3 hours once a month with all learning leaders to have these bigger, deeper conversations. So I don't sit there and go, I want coaching. Like, I can bring the idea to the group and we start processing it and thinking about it and building understanding. And at the end of the day, who wouldn't want coaching?
Right.
I mean, all of the data proves like the impact that coaching can have, but we also know all the data tells us you're not going to have an impact through coaching unless you like plan it, unless you set your coaches up for success. And we've learned from other people going before us who maybe have regretted how fast they added coaches, or, we're all so connected and knowing other coaches in other places that are sort of challenged to define their role in the midst of doing that. And I don't know, I mean, we had the luxury and the time, I feel like, of going slower. We gave ourselves that luxury. We gave ourselves that time to go slower because we really want these to have impact and be successful.
So I think everything, I keep having more and more questions, but you've mentioned so many really important points in that last like kind of chunk there where you're talking about, so I'm thinking again, this question of many coaches struggle with building a culture of coaching in their school. They struggle with leaders understanding what coaching is and could be in their school. And they struggle with then communicating that to the staff because there's still maybe a lack of clarity even between the coaches and the school leaders. So what I'm hearing from you is that starting from the evidence, the data that shows why coaching is important and powerful and how you can make it powerful at your school is kind of like the beginning. If you were going to do it all over again, it sounds like you did a great job, but if you were recommending someone who's starting from scratch, that sounds like a really good starting point, is like to collect some of this data that shows like this coaching does work. It works when you do these things. Let's do these things together and let's give ourselves the time to be able to build that out in a way that we make it right for our school.
So when we started over a year ago, it started with the research about coaching and why we should be looking at coaching. And it started with our own data, where we did a needs analysis. We looked at our accreditation data. We looked at our accreditation report. We were a school that didn't have a robust curriculum when we walked in 5 years ago. So those needs were clear from our own data, where we said we didn't feel like we had a robust curriculum in the accreditation process. And then when outsiders came in and said the same thing, about our program. So then when we did that needs analysis, a lot of it came down to our own data, and data about turnover, and and data about like how much money had been spent on some of these different programs that we were bringing into the school, and how do we switch from like just a financial input model to a sustainability model, and like then asking the question, is coaching the right way for us? And that's really where that collective decision was made, based on the data, based on the research, that coaching was the right next step for us. And it was made with a group of 20 people, with administrators and teachers involved in that.
I think this should be like required listening or watching. I'm trying to figure out which section is going to be end up on YouTube. And I feel like this section is probably a really good section because it is so challenging, right? There's a little bit of competitiveness between international schools, that if one school has this job or one school has this, model of doing things, then every school has to have it. And I really respected your point earlier when you said we recognize that there are many elements of cognitive coaching that will make coaching successful at our school, but that's not the model that we want for our school, because that's another great example of what I would I would like generally call a trend in international schools is, one big school starts doing cognitive coaching, then, okay, everybody now kind of follows along. And so I think this point you're making here of pulling from evidence, both from within your school, evidence from, research about coaching, and then evidence from external sources coming in and analyzing the data that you have at your school, and then determining, okay, this is something we actually need. Let's give ourselves the time to figure out what's going to work for us. That to me that's that piece that's so right now I feel many schools are missing because they haven't gone through that thinking process. They've just heard, oh, such and such school has one coach at every division level, then we're going to hire one coach at every division level.
Yeah.
But no one here knows what that job does, right? So very cool.
Yeah, and we've just been in a good situation to I think take it slow.
Yeah. Did you enjoy today's episode? Then you will love the Coach Microcredential program. We know because our current participants are always sharing their feedback with us, and we ask them to share their experiences with you. Each week, we'll be sharing a new voice from inside the cohort of the coach, so you can get a participant's perspective on what will make the program just right for you.
There are many reasons that I would recommend someone to join the coach, but most of all, and I'll just capture it all in one thing, professional flexibility. I was hesitant to join the program because I was taking on this new role this year, and I knew I was going to be very busy. I'm a coordinator, I'm a coach, and I'm doing basically a full-time micro-credential with the coach. But they've been fantastic about, being very flexible with due dates, being flexible about me rearranging the work that I want to do, because that's another piece to it. They have also been incredibly flexible in terms of professional experience. For example, some of the readings that we do and some of the materials I've done before. I've been a coach for 8 years already, and they've been fantastic in all regards. So I say go for it. Definitely take the coach. I couldn't recommend it more.
This is just one of the voices from our current The Coach cohort. Here's what a few others have to say.
I'd really advise anyone interested in taking the coach to take the plunge and go for it.
So I highly recommend it.
So do it.
But overall, this course is fantastic because it's made me feel awesome. It's made me feel excited for my future.
If I were to give any piece of advice or message to future cohort members, it is to take the course. If you are on the fence, please take it.
As you can see, this micro-credential is for all educators, not just coaches, because you develop the coaching skills you can use in all aspects of your practice. You don't have to be a coach to have a coaching conversation with a student, a fellow colleague, a school leader, or even a parent. When you're ready to learn more about the coach, click on the link below or reach out to us at Eduro Learning on any of our social media platforms. Registration for our next cohort opens soon. Don't miss it. Expand your professional learning network, dive deep into 26 weeks of curated coaching content, and get your own private mentor for an entire academic year. We can't wait to work with you. Are you ready to take your coaching skills to the next level? Join the next cohort of The Coach and make it happen.